When Soul first premiered, it hit me hard. I shared my initial thoughts in a video, a raw, heartfelt response to Pixar's film. But time has a way of revealing new layers, and upon a second viewing of this film, I got something completely different than I did at the time of my initial view. I first thought this movie was about not being tied down to one spark, that there's more to life than just music or just comedy. The one quote from this movie that spoke to me before was when Dorothea talks about the fish who's trying to find the ocean, thinking he's just in water. I previously talked about how being focused on your next step can lead to you not enjoying the moment. And that is definitely a crucial part of this story, but I think I might have missed something before. The concept of a lost soul and someone being in a flow state, being so close to each other. This was a very interesting idea to me. How easy it is to turn something that you're passionate about to a dark and twisted obsession. I think much like Joe, I was blinded by focusing on the spark and not other aspects of life that are equally important. I touched on how 22 enjoyed the moment, but it's the why that I missed. It wasn't because they were experiencing it for the first time, but they were also not focused on what's ahead, which led to them being happier in the moment. Joe and his encounters with his barber Dez are a great example of that. Before 22 takes over his body, Joe mentioned that he really only talks to his barber and that they only talk about jazz. After 22 starts asking Dez questions, they both learn that he initially wanted to be a veterinarian and due to life situations, became a barber. 22 thinks this is upsetting. Dez gave up on his dreams and now isn't happy. Dez quickly corrects 22 though. Even though his life didn't end up the way he thought it was, he is still very happy and learned to love his new profession. Dez could have been so focused on the goal of becoming a vet that he could have easily lost focus and became one of the lost souls. Moonwind let us know during their introduction just how easy it is to be a trapped soul. It seems like a throwaway joke at first, but Moonwind was serious when he said that what caused him to almost become a lost soul was Tetris. I'm a gamer myself, and there was a time where I too almost became a lost soul due to a video game. Whether it's an immersive universe like Cyberpunk 2077, or a game where being the first to unlock rare loot or builds can lead to your channel getting more views, you can quickly lose focus on what it's really about, having fun. We already established that it's those that are in a state of flow, are performing at such a level it feels like you're almost out of body, that are more susceptible to becoming a lost soul due to how hard they focus on that goal. A lot of you know the feeling that I'm referring to. Whether you're an athlete or an artist, you probably have felt it yourself. It's truly an out-of-world experience where you let your instincts, your skills, and your passion take over. You're no longer thinking about anything other than the task at hand. You see your hands moving, but you're not controlling them. You see your body as if it's in third person. This experience can be addictive. The pursuit of it will lead to what we call in gaming as tilt. Tilt will lead you to losing your direction, which will make you a lost soul, cut off from life. 22's childlike wonder when playing on the air vents and jazzing on the fence posts on their path. 22, while in Joe's body, hears the subway performer, and this makes them feel some type of way while listening to a song for the first time. Joe kind of shrugs this off and thinks that since 22 is in his body, that's the reason why they enjoy music, but they're separate souls. This isn't Joe feeling this, it's 22. Joe was too busy looking ahead to see the passion in the heart from the street performer. Joe and his mother have never seen eye to eye. It takes losing his life to finally say what has been on his heart. His mom is afraid that he will struggle, like she saw his dad do. She admits that she was the one that had to provide for him, and she's scared that she won't be able to do the same for Joe, at least not forever. In that moment, Joe is able to speak his heart through 22. When Joe says this,
"Music is all I think about. From the moment I wake up in the morning to the moment I fall asleep at night."
You can't eat dreams for breakfast, Joey.
Then I don't want to eat. This isn't about my career, Mom. It's my reason for living. And I know Dad felt the same way.
it opens his mother's eyes. And when Joe says this,
"I'm just afraid that if I died today, that my life would have amounted to nothing."
this is what makes his mother finally realize how important it is to him, and she can no longer hold him back due to her fears. After this heart-to-heart, Joe's mother prepares his father's suit. With newfound confidence, 22 and Joe walk to the Dorothea Williams show. On the steps of the bar where the show will be held, Joe is able to see himself actually about to live his dream. He has 22 pose in front of the sign so he can cherish this moment. 22 then sits on a stoop and sees a leaf falling, a kid playing with his father and experiencing someone else about to accomplish their dream. All of this starts to overwhelm 22. 22 finally sees the joy of life. 22 pulls out a handful of trinkets they collected while in Joe's shoes. The lollipop from Dez, the spool that Joe's mom used on the suit, all cherished memories they now carry. 22 admits they felt like something has always been different about them, how something might be wrong with them, how they never felt like they were good enough for living because they didn't have a spark. Instead, 22 found joy in life itself. And when Moonwind arrived in this moment to bring them back to the afterlife, or the before life, 22 is scared to lose their life before finding their purpose or their spark, which causes 22 to flee. They run right into the hands of Jerry and end up back in the afterlife. It's here where it's revealed that 22 unlocked her Earth path. Joe still thinking that it's his body and love for music that unlocked that last box, her spark, that gave her that Earth pass. He says some things that he would later regret. 22, frustrated and full of doubt, throws her chance at life quite literally away. Joe takes advantage of this and grabs 22's life pass and plans to use it on himself so he can finally play with Dorothea Williams. Joe said it himself. He feels like his death happened right when he's able to start living his own life, not realizing that he had 40 odd years of life that he let go past him because he was too busy chasing his dreams. And when he kept getting rejected, he settled for a job teaching students, but kept wishing for more, not living in the moment. That's why this conversation with Jerry is so important. Joe, still not seeing the trees through the forest, thinks that 22 found her spark or her purpose. But Jerry informs them that they don't assign purposes and kind of implies that there is no bigger purpose of life other than enjoying the moment. This is kind of important, and I wish the movie would have put a bigger emphasis on this moment. It's shown when we are first introduced to the afterlife that, or is it the before life? What is it? Damn it. The souls without the Earth pass are able to get their personalities here, but the purpose or spark is something that they will find on their own. But life isn't only about your spark, like Joe believes. A spark is not your purpose. You may be talented, you may have a passion for something, but it's not your purpose. You're not given instructions. Your only job is to enjoy the moment. Joe gets his body back and still only believes music is his purpose. He pleads with Dorothea to give him another chance because music is his purpose. She does end up giving him another chance when seeing this passion, but what would happen if she said no in this moment? Would Joe suddenly have died? No, life would have went on. That's why Joe is so disappointed after the show. Joe finally reached the peak of the mountain he was climbing for 40-something years. So what now? Joe's life continues. He gets on the subway and doesn't feel any different. He's in his father's suit he just played for Dorothea Williams in front of his mother. Yet, he's still without a purpose. He makes it home and sees all the trinkets that 22 gathered through their brief journey together. He thinks back on all their shared experiences. Then Joe starts to think further back. He remembers his parents, the love his mom showed him, eating pecan pie, playing piano with his father, feeling the water pass over his feet as he holds his mother's hands as they grieve the loss of his father. All of these moments rush through his mind as the camera pans out to different parts of the city. The camera zooms out again and again. It keeps zooming out. And finally, it shows the universe. This is a reminder just how small we really are in this universe. Joe feels regret for taking 22's chance at experiencing everything that he did, the good and the bad. Because Joe finally realized after 40 years on Earth what 22 found out in just a day. There is no true purpose. You just need to enjoy the moment. Joe plays his piano and hopes to get to a flow state and rescue 22 and give her back the Earth pass he so selfishly took from her. He confronts her, and when we see a glimpse of all the self-doubt that 22 is feeling, it's quite emotional. 22 spent years in the afterlife trying to find their purpose. The mentors that 22 went through were considered some of the best and brightest minds that have ever existed, and they couldn't break through to 22. When Joe confronts 22 in the lost soul space, it's not the mentors' voices that she hears. Their words are being spoken by her voice, and that's because their words left a lasting impact on 22. Now, 22 is starting to believe those words are true. This is a very powerful visual. Once your words are said, the impact they have can be felt for generations. 22 knew that they weren't assigned a purpose, so she didn't see a purpose in life. It wasn't until 22 experienced all of the little things firsthand that she was able to see and realize what they were missing out on. That's why that leaf was able to break through to 22's lost soul. It was a reminder to 22 of the little joys in life. It's here Joe shares with 22 that even though they feel like they aren't good enough and that they're scared, it's the want to try that keeps us living. Joe accepts that by giving 22 the Earth pass, he is likely not going to be able to live any further. He is content with the life he had and sacrifices his remaining time for 22. This is why Joe's reaction to seeing the white light on the escalator at the end was much different than his reaction from the beginning. In the beginning, he ran away from it in unacceptance, but now he looks forward to it with a smile. To me, this would have made a great ending, but the Jerrys feel inspired and the folks at Disney can't have a sad ending. So Joe is given a second chance at life, but this time with a restored appreciation and joy for being in the moment.